by now. So I really appreciate you hanging out to hear. This is a much lighter talk today. I'm going to open my playbook and kind of tell you what we've done to grow our practice and some tips and tricks for York County, which is a fairly small area. We're in between lots of big cities. We have Baltimore, Philly, Pittsburgh, but our area is kind of like Amish country farming. So we had to get very creative with some of the strategies to get patients in the door. And I'm told that we do see a lot of male patients. Maddie was like, you have to talk about this. You do so many, you get so many guys on your Umbrella chair, so everyone wants to know how you're doing that. So I'll tell you what I think, and I've kind of pulled the patients and pulled some of our employees, like, how are we doing this? So I will try to give you as many tricks as I can. So yesterday I told you I wasn't gonna spend a lot of time talking about myself because it was very short, but I think it's important to know my background. So I told you yesterday I'm a family doctor. I've been in family medicine for 14 years, and I started very full scope. So the first 6 years of my career, I did everything, including delivering babies, hospital medicine, and that's because I loved it. I wanted to do everything. I thought it was awesome that there were no limits, and I was able to practice full scope. Burn out really quick doing that. So then I went to urgent care, then I went back to the hospital. Shortly into my career, I got certified in obesity medicine. That's something I've always had an interest in. And I've been certified in that for 10 years. So I started doing that before it was trendy, before GLPs were a thing. I can say the transformation of obesity medicine has been awesome. I do not have to write out diet plans or exercise prescriptions anymore. Those are things that would take me hours. ChatGPT can do that in 30 seconds. It's incredible. And then as I was getting ready to leave the traditional medical field, I got certified in hormones. So this is how my husband and I started. We were both so burnt out. So the nail in the coffin for me, I was managing about 100-bed hospital in an even smaller part of Pennsylvania called Hanover. And I was pretty young, and they hired me to direct it. And I had 12 doctors under me, and 3 weeks after I accepted the position, COVID hit. So here I am, pretty young. I was like 34 years old, managing 12 doctors that were all older than me, and with a global pandemic. And I hung in there for about 2 years, and my husband's like, we can't do this anymore. He was in electrical contracting, he ran his own business. He was getting burnt out because the supply chain was terrible, people didn't want to pay. He was sometimes allowed in houses, sometimes not. He's like, let's stop everything. We're gonna do the weight loss clinic. That's been your passion, that's what we're gonna do. I was like, you're crazy. Nobody does that. It's COVID. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Half the time you're not even allowed to be open. But we were both so stressed and ready for a change, we did it. And we were a two-man show for a couple months. We didn't even take a paycheck. We believed in this so much that for 6 to 7 months, we found this tiny little house. It's about 2,000 square feet, only had a couple rooms in it. He ran the front desk and did the business stuff. I saw the patients. And for whatever reason, we exploded. And April will be 4 years. And this is what we look like now. We do not have the tiny little house anymore. Our suite is now about 6,500 square feet. We have 15 patient rooms, and we just opened a second location back in Hanover. So I think there's like 16 of us. I lose track because we have a lot of turnover, just like everybody does apparently nowadays. So I think there's about 16 of us now. We have so many staff that we can't even keep an updated picture of all of us. Okay, so that's my history. That's what drove me into this. And when I was asked to talk about some of the things that we've done, I truly had to ask for help because business is not what I was trained in. I'm a doctor. I have known really nothing about it, but my husband and my dad keep reminding me that you own a business now, you do know some stuff about it. So my business advisor, who also happens to be my dad, came up with this list of the 5 Ps that we're gonna talk about today, that hopefully you guys will get some tips and tricks from that helps drive business. So purpose is number 1, and it's a very short video, and this guy just explains it way better than I can, so see what plays.
A lot of my clients ask, how do they find their why? I'm gonna give you 3 quick strategies. The first, identify the things you can do to empower others and make their lives better. Doing something that will benefit others more than yourself is an amazing experience, and it gives a sense of purpose. The second strategy for finding your why? Think about the things that make you forget about the passing of time. You're fulfilling your purpose when you're doing something that energizes you rather than drains you. When you're living on your purpose, time just flies by.
Yes, thank you. I can never get that excited, so I'm like, he explains it so perfect. So truly, that's why we're doing what we're doing. We love helping people. It's so fun. It's so rewarding. You don't have the limits of traditional medicine, and so that's what drives us every day. So, and I'm sure most of you are experiencing the same thing. So the other purpose is, we know that obesity is a huge problem in this country, and traditional medicine really doesn't do a whole lot. They are really limiting in what you can do. And when we left traditional medicine and started this practice, I said, we're gonna do it right. We're not gonna have the limitations of insurance. So recognizing that there's a big need for obesity is part of it. Hormones, I didn't realize that this was a big issue until I started struggling myself, of course. I was fairly young and I didn't know what was happening, and of course when I went to my family doctor to seek help, my family doctor is great. She's like, Brittany, I believe you, but everything's normal. I really don't know what to tell you. So after doing lots of my own research and purchasing some progesterone cream on Amazon and pretty much changing my life with that, I was like, you know what, there's got to be something to these hormones. And it turns out I'm not the only one that was struggling. So we do a ton of hormone replacement now as well. Yesterday I talked about ExoMind and mental health, another huge need in this country, so I'm not gonna belabor that. And then sexual wellness. You heard from Jake yesterday morning that this is actually one of the top 5 things that we care about for our wellness journey. It is super important. We don't talk about it very much, but I'm going to today. I have a couple different sections in this presentation where we're actually gonna talk a lot about sexual wellness because it is really important. All right, so on to P number 2 is product. I think you've heard a few times now that I did not want to participate with BTL. You can see on my face, I was not wanting to like this technology. I did not want to like BTL. I did not want to buy another machine. We had gotten burnt a few times and I wanted to hate it. But 1 month later, after trying it, we had the Emcellachair and the Emsculpt Neo. So quick story on how that happened. I don't know if you've seen little Josh Weaver out there, but he called our office. He got a hold of one of my hungry employees and said, I bring you guys lunch, let me come talk to you about the Emcellachair. And of course she agreed. She's like, I'll take free lunch for anything. So he comes and talks about it. It sounds great. They always do. Every time a rep comes, they promise the world. And we said, you know, sounds wonderful, but we're not buying another product until we try it. So we were in the last couple companies where they were able to bring the machines to us. So they brought us the Emcellachair, they brought us the Emsculpt Neo, and all of our staff tried it. So that picture prior was me sitting on the Emcellachair for 8 minutes, protocol 2, and 2 nights later, I was getting some of those sexual wellness benefits that we're gonna talk about, and I looked at my husband and I said, I don't care if I have to use my retirement fund and put that thing in my basement, we're getting the Emcellachair. And you know, he was feeling like a rock star. He's like, nope, we'll put it in the practice and we're buying the Emsculpt Neo too. So that's how we got into business with BTL. We now have everything, we have the whole M suite. And honestly, I think we're just now at a year. So 1 year ago is when Josh Weaver first came to our office. So within a year, we have everything now because the technology is that good. All right, so I've been having some issues with this video, but this just gets me really pumped up about the Emcellachair because it's my favorite piece of technology.
Treatment for a condition that impacts millions is making waves in the world of wellness. It's called Emcella, and it's offering hope and confidence to people who struggle controlling their bladder. Fox 43's Amy Lutz takes a look at how it works in this week's Health Smart Report.
The tapping of this machine has the power to tap into better pelvic health.
So many women struggle with incontinence and we don't talk about it, and that's not fun and it's not comfortable and we don't feel like ourselves and it feels like your life gets interrupted.
Dr. Brittany Barker says that's where the Emcella device comes in. While it may look like a normal chair, it's anything but. The FDA-approved device uses electromagnetic energy to stimulate the pelvic floor muscles without the patient having to do any of the work.
We're capable of doing a few Kegels a minute. This machine will do 12,000 Kegels in 28 minutes. Your body could never do that on its own.
She says many people will notice some sort of change after just one treatment.
Women only need 6 treatments, and you can do those 2 times a week. So in 3 weeks, you've completed a whole series.
Rita Clayton just finished hers.
Was having some urinary frequency where I'd have to go to the bathroom quickly, get there quickly, wouldn't be able to hold it, sometimes have issues with getting there in time.
She says Emsella has been a real game changer for someone her age.
That I've tried and struggled for years to do Kegel exercises the correct way, and you just have difficulty kind of getting that. And the machine does it for you, and it works you out, and you can see it and feel it, and it's just amazing.
Tackling an issue that affects the quality of life for so many people.
It's the first treatment out there where you can stay fully clothed for a pelvic floor dysfunction.
And giving them a dignified, non-invasive way to reclaim their confidence. Right now, the Emsella treatment is only available in 2 other cities.
I don't need to see the rest of that, just because I'm running short on time, that's not as important. So, again, with product, BTL, you know you're getting good quality. We did our due diligence initially, and now whenever they bring out another machine, we're like, yep, sure, of course we're gonna get it, you know, we already know it's good. But other things in your practice too, we're very careful about which compounded GLPs we bring in, which companies that we use for our compounded hormones. You really want to ask for your quality studies. You need to make sure you're bringing in good product, because if it doesn't work, your patients are not going to be happy that they spent all that money for bad products. We do a lot of supplements as well. That complements weight loss, it complements hormones, and we vet those companies too. Same with aesthetics. There's a lot of places that are using like off-label Botox. We just don't do that. We just make sure we're getting good quality stuff in. P number 3 is people. I'll give you a minute to read that. It's not the goal, but inevitably, yeah, it is what you're gonna get. Yes, you can't, and not everyone's going to be a high achiever. This was very difficult for me, and I had to learn that your employees don't own your company. They are never gonna have the motivation you do. They are never gonna care as much as you do. And so whenever I'm having trouble, I ask myself, are they doing at least 80% of the job I would do? And if the answer is yes, you have to be really happy with that. If they're not doing 80%, then you do have reason to get upset. But yeah, unfortunately, this is not the goal. It is part of it. It's what happens. So hiring well is important. It is probably the most challenging piece for me. Everybody interviews well. You don't really know what you're going to get. But we do thankfully have a good crew. So this is a picture. We try to have fun. I'm not the fun one there. I tell the girls, I'll do whatever you tell me to do, but I can't come up with ideas. I'm just not that kind of person. So one of our girls had this idea about dressing up for Halloween. It was really fun. We had patients come in dressed up. It was awesome. We try to make it a really good environment, but the people you bring in that represent you are extremely important. Collaborate well. I think I've told you enough times now that you know I love BTL. They're great collaborators. We love Maddie. She is just wonderful. She's helped us grow our BTL practice tremendously. This was another lesson I had to learn. I like to do everything myself, but truly great leaders have many wise counselors. And so anytime someone does something better than me, or it's something I hate doing, it's well worth the money. Don't try to do everything yourself. You're not gonna be able to. And if you surround yourself with people smarter than you, it's a really good decision. And again, well worth the money. So these are things that we outsource, and stuff we did in the beginning, we did everything ourselves. And as we got bigger, we had to, get rid of some of the responsibilities. P number 4, I'll give you a minute to read that. It's a fine line, but I would say I'm passionate most of the time. My husband might have a different opinion, so don't open your mouth back there. But no, truly, we just really love what we're doing. So this is something I didn't tell you yet. Part of my passion is that I struggled with obesity myself for a very long time. So that picture on the left is during residency. Working 80 to 100 hours a week. I had a 3-year-old at the time. I just really struggled, and what was frustrating is I kept asking for help. Family doctor, endocrinologist, and I said, somebody please help me, I don't know what to do. And every single time I got told, you can just eat less. And I'm like, I'm not a dumb person. If I could do that, I would have already. But once I figured it out for myself and knowing that the whole country struggles with this, I said, you know what, I'm gonna be different. I'm truly gonna listen and help people. I know how difficult life can be when you're significantly overweight. So I'm 100 pounds heavier in that picture. I qualified for gastric bypass. That's not the route I went. But it truly is a different lifestyle when you struggle like that. So how do you do that for your staff, right? Because patients know that I'm passionate. They come and they know that I've struggled. I advertise that. It's embarrassing, but I want people to know, like, I get it. I know how this feels. I know how badly you want to change your life. But again, I can't see every patient. I don't have time. So you want your staff to be just as passionate. So how do you do that? Let them use your services. Let them get feeling better. So we very heavily discount our products to our staff, or we give it to them for free. You have to be careful because you don't want to get taken advantage of, but we want them to get results. All of these pictures are our staff. So these are not patients. These are all staff results. When they get feeling like this, it's going to be easy. You don't have to be a salesman when you believe in what you're doing. A couple other things we do. So you heard me speak yesterday on how we consult and sell our ExoMind. This is our Emsella room, and I told you we were going to talk a lot about Emsella today. So one of the things that we do to try to convey that we really believe in this technology is we bring people into the room for the consult. We let them sit on the chair. Sometimes we'll even turn it on if they're nervous, because again, your overhead is nothing to run your machine, or just a tiny bit of electrical energy. But we have them fill out the consent, and then we have them fill out symptom questionnaires. So yesterday I said, with ExoMind, you can't take before and after pictures. Same way with Emsella. There's really no way to track progress, but we have them do an incontinence screening, and then a female and a male sexual health questionnaire. And we have them do that before their first treatment, at their last treatment, and then 90 days later, again, that's gonna be your standard. Everyone gets reevaluated at 90 days, we have them do it again. And then we compare the questionnaires, and patients forget. So we can say, hey, look, you were using 16 pads for incontinence when you came in, now you're down to 4. What a big difference. Bless you. Same way with our Neo. We have a nice private room. We try to make that very comfortable and a good experience, but we want objective results. So we do an in-body on everybody before they get a treatment. That's gonna be your body composition. So you're going to be able to look at visceral fat, and you're gonna be able to look at the different segments, which is perfect, because it doesn't matter which area they're getting treated, you can see the difference. We take measurements, we do take befores and afters for our Neo, but the more objective measures you can give to your patients, the better. Okay, last P is profit. So this is always the goal. Let me read that. Has anyone seen these cow economic memes, by the way? I learned more about economics through these. They are so funny and so educational. But this is not the goal. But unfortunately, this does happen a lot in this country, right? I mean, greed can overtake. This is not what you're looking for, but it does happen. So if you haven't heard this enough yet this weekend, this is a huge market. The wellness market is growing. It's definitely increasing, and younger generations are more willing to pay for it. So it's not gonna slow down anytime soon. The younger generations realize the value in feeling good, and most of them realize they're not gonna get that in traditional medicine, so they will pay for it, and it is not going away. Again, I told you I was gonna talk a lot about sexual wellness. That market too is continuing to grow. What killed me when I read this is that this is the average age. And I was like, that really hit home for me. That's my demographic, and I'm certainly not ready to give up sex yet. So I'm thinking, holy cow, if people that age group are struggling, we have to do something about it. So a couple other things. I put up the injectables because you do kind of, if you're doing aesthetics, you have to offer them. And we love them, but they're not very profitable. Till you pay someone to do it, the overhead, Allergan increases their prices like every 6 months. And in our area, every corner has a med spa doing Botox. So we have to stay competitive. Between the overhead and paying a staff member to do it, they're just not that profitable. We love them, but you don't make a lot of money doing them. This is why it's good to bring in technology like this. Once the machine's paid for, and they're expensive, but once that's paid for, your overhead is minimal. The MAP pricing on these machines is huge. You're talking $500 to $1,000, and depending on the area you're in, you can charge full price. There's places charging more than that. Very big MAP overhead, with little overhead. To run the machines, you're looking at, free. Emsella costs nothing, and I think the most expensive is $80 a treatment. Mostly no consumables with your BTL products. Again, some like rounding pads, things like that, those are $5. I mean, very, very inexpensive. And then my favorite part is that they are all delegatable. Even though I truly love doing the treatments on patients, I don't have time, I can't see everybody. And I'm also my most expensive person to pay to do these things. So if I can pay, someone a lot less money and have them do the treatments, that will definitely help. And then the best piece is that they're not covered by insurance, so you get paid up front. You're not treating people and then having to fight for your money later. Just a couple other tricks that we've done that has seemed to help our practice with profit is that we do not take any insurance at all. When I left traditional medicine, that was just my passion about, I don't want to fight with insurance anymore, I'm burnt out from it. So we do not take any sort of insurance. They do cover some of the labs, but the lab that's drawing the tests are the ones charging, not us. We do a monthly membership for a couple reasons. Number one, if you make people pay ahead of time for their visits on a monthly schedule, they come to their visits. And our patient care seems to be better that way. We do not charge a whole lot. We charge $75 a month. That is less than people are spending on Starbucks, their eyelash extensions, their nails. It's pretty affordable, and we do that on purpose. I said yesterday our main goal was to get quantity. We want lots of patients. We want them to go talk about it. So we try to be very affordable. And then if they're on a membership, they get all these discounts. Now you get the Neo, all of the BTL products get discounted. Some of our aesthetic services get discounted. We try to make it worth it for them. We also offer a cash discount instead of upcharging for them using a credit card and making the patient cover the credit card fee. We eat that, and we give them a discount for paying cash. You have to offer financing. Nobody likes doing it. They do take a ton of the profit, but asking people to spend thousands of dollars up front is gonna be inhibitive if you don't have another option. So we personally use Cherry. We found them to be kind of the easiest to work with, and you get to kind of select what fees the fee structure that you want. And then for our wellness and aesthetics, if they're not on a prescription medicine, it is just a fee for service. It's a procedure. There's no reason to charge a membership for that. A couple other things to think about, anything that you're going to cause, so if you're doing any prescription medicine, you're gonna have side effects. It doesn't matter which one it is. So we know that if we're doing GLPs and people are losing weight, there's a 50% chance they're gonna lose hair, there's a 50% chance they're gonna lose muscle. So we offer everything that we're causing. So, we have solutions for building muscle, for hair loss. Anything that I'm going to cause a patient to have, I wanna be able to fix, because they're gonna go somewhere. You might as well offer it and capture that profit, and it's better patient care. The other thing that we consider is demand. So a great example is peptides. I truly think they're really expensive, and there's benefit, but it's, I think, very minimal for the cost. But constantly, patients every day, when are you bringing peptides? When are you gonna offer peptides? And I keep telling them, you can get them, but they're probably not worth the money. But finally I caved, just because everyone kept asking, and truly it's not my decision. If they wanna spend money on it, they are safe, they're not gonna hurt them. So we started bringing peptides in just because the demand was there. You have to do socials. I actually personally hate social media. I wish we didn't have to. It is, you do. There's not an option for it. You have to do Facebook, you have to do Instagram. We fought TikTok for the longest time. We finally caved and we have TikTok now. This is where consumers are getting their information. So you have to do it. We pay a company to run it. We have about 3 staff members that are just really good at it, and they actually enjoy it, so we let them kind of manage it. But we try to make it fun. Patients come in dressed up. We get patients involved. That's a link to the website that has all of our other links on it. And then just a quick little bonus. This is our office celebrity. This is Ivan. He is actually a certified therapy dog. He's a long-haired Chihuahua. And we decided to bring him in because weight loss hormones is a very emotional subject, and patients are nervous, patients are upset. They've oftentimes tried to get help other places, and they were told they're crazy or nothing's wrong with you. that conversation's a lot easier when you have a little dog sitting on your lap loving you. So the other nice piece, the benefit to that is patients love taking selfies with him, and then they post it on Facebook and tag us, and so it's like free advertising for us. Okay, we're gonna switch gears here, and I didn't feel like this fit into any of the P's, so we're just kind of gonna talk about the male population now. The special population for a couple reasons. I know that sounds like a joke, but truly men do not seek care as much as women do. They need to, but whether it's a subconscious thing, we know that men don't like to ask for help as much. Sometimes it can be perceived as a sign of weakness, and that's not true, but it's just been inbred in their brains, you know, from young boy, unfortunately. And they need care just as much as we do. So we have been really good about getting a lot of males in. And like I said, I asked people, I asked our male patients, I asked our staff, I asked friends, like, why do you think we are able to get so many men? Honestly, unanimously, everybody told me, because your staff is hot. And I truly think it has to be more than that. It's just funny that that was the answer, but this is what I think is different. This is what I think we do. We do have some good-looking women in our office, but men are not gonna come in and look at a good-looking woman and talk about their erectile dysfunction. You have to ask, and it's part of our intake. It's part of our intake for their wives, and it's part of our intake for them. How's your sex life? They do care about that. That is something that men care about. Women too, not as much. I think we get to a certain age and we're just told you have to live with it. But men continue to care about it. You have to ask. They're not gonna offer it up. So it's, again, part of our intake. We ask every man that comes in for a consultation, how's your sex life? How's your libido? Are things working okay for you? They will tell you if you ask. And I think that's why we're getting a lot of males in, and we are doing a lot of help with erectile dysfunction, which we'll get into a little bit. So I have a video. This is a great example of a couple. The wife came first. She had no interest in sex. We got her interested in sex again, and then her husband came back and said, now I can't keep up with her, and that happens a lot.
It was tiredness, fatigue, just really low energy. I really didn't care for sex at that point. So I would say there was multiple things for me that led me here.
Having issues with erectile dysfunction. I wasn't hesitant at all, but besides the sexual side of it, the energy level was absolutely a game changer for the treatments. I was falling asleep by 7 o'clock, and now it's 10 or 11 o'clock, so no problem.
Doing a whole blood work scan and going over all of that information before she even, gave us options on what would work for us, I think. And I feel like she was very comforting and very understanding.
Because I've never had a blood work and things like that covered every little piece, and to understand what each one meant, whether it was high or low or in the normal range, what that really meant. Sometimes being high was better depending on our situation. Sometimes being low was better depending on the situation. So it was very, very understanding, very thorough of how we got to understand what our body was all about.
It's
Right?
huge.
Yeah, I think it keeps coming back to the energy level. I mean, that plays such a huge role in everything. I mean, your whole makeup of what goes on during the day, evening, sleeping. I mean, we sleep better. The energy level to keep going is better. Sex is better. It just overall is a much, it's well worth it.
And I think also after menopause, our bodies are depleted, and I think we just need that. And I don't know if I won't be without it. The energy, again, I just can't say enough for the energy, but then it also, like, he doesn't hear I'm too tired anymore.
Big time different, and just being able to keep going, doing things around the house, just out working. You have the strength to be able to continue to keep going on, and if it didn't work for anything else but that, it would be well worth what we're doing with it, because I could not deal with the energy level part being that much lower. Of course, the sexual part is also awesome.
You're a recurring theme here, right? Yeah, so, thank you. Yeah, it's exciting. This is also a tough demographic. Generally, this age group, they're both in their late 60s. They don't necessarily want to pay for healthcare, but when you get them feeling good, I mean, I can tell you their relationship has changed just because they're able to have sex again. So it matters. This stuff is really important. Dean did use Emsella chair. He got some results from that, and then I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. We did some experimental treatments with radio frequency using the Exion machine, and that actually made a huge difference. If you're a lifelong smoker and you've destroyed your blood vessels, it doesn't matter how much Cialis you pump into your body, those blood vessels are not gonna work, but radio frequency actually regrows them. So I'm not gonna say, if you want more information, find me afterwards, but he's doing much better. So erectile dysfunction, it is real. It does not get talked about a lot. Again, you have to ask. You can't just assume that your patients are going to open up about this. It's embarrassing. I have a video later, and he does such a good job of saying, like, it's so important. We want to please our wives, right? We want to enjoy sex, but we don't talk about it because it's embarrassing. But there is a bigger population than we think, so there's kind of decade dosing for ED as well, so it's probably not uncommon, and you probably aren't surprised when you hear 80% of men in their 80s can't get an erection. That sounds reasonable, right? 70% of men in their 70s. But when you think about 30% of 30-year-olds that can't get erections, that's huge. So this is a huge market. There's not a lot done. The meds do work to a certain extent, but you will have times when they don't. You patients with medical problems that don't qualify for them. And then, the other options, if Cialis doesn't work, the other options are terrible. I just saw a guy 2 days ago. He is ready to get a penis implant and a pump in his scrotum. He is that desperate to have sex again. And I said, give me a chance. Let me get you on the Emsella chair. We're gonna pair it with that. We're gonna do some radio frequency treatments. And it truly is making a huge difference. But yeah, the other options are terrible. Lots of money spent, that's the other thing. So back to the profit, you can make a lot of money if you get men having sex again. So there is clearance in Canada. It'll follow. US is always a couple of years behind with FDA clearances. So Canada does have the clearance for sexual dysfunction for the Emsella chair. So in my opinion, that's good enough for me. I don't need the US to approve it. Again, we're always really, really behind. Plus I do a lot of things off label anyway. Again, if it's not gonna hurt someone, I'm gonna try it. Pelvic floor dysfunction is real. As we age, as we take these medications, we get sarcopenia. Not only do the muscles get smaller, the blood vessels get affected, the nerves get affected. It is a real thing, and it's not just women. This is happening to men as well. So again, I always like studies. I don't bring anything in. I don't try anything without some scientific evidence usually, or at least some rationale for doing stuff. So here you go, 92% of patients are satisfied with Emsella. That's men and women, even for the sexual piece. I'm gonna go through these studies really quick because I'm running short on time and I really want you to see the video. Specifically for male sexual dysfunction, increase in penile density. No one's ever upset about that. You can get an erection quicker, maintain it longer, and you have better orgasms. I think that's what the next slide shows. So men and women, but again, we're talking about men right now. So yes, that's how you get male patients. You make them have good sex again. All right, so we're gonna end with a video. This is Tim. I had to beg him to do this, but I just loved his story so much. He had no problems until he got a kidney stone. And when he was telling me, and this is another one, by the way, where his wife came in, she had no interest in sex. We got her on some hormone cream, she's having sex again. He comes back, he's like, I love what you did for her, I can't keep up with her. That is truly how we get a lot of our male patients. But he said, I had no issues, and I had this kidney stone, I had lots of invasive surgeries, and now I can't get an erection anymore. And logically, I'm thinking, that's a lot of pelvic floor manipulation that you had. So he only needed Emsella. I'll let him tell the rest of his story.
Basically, the sex wasn't that great between my wife and I, and things weren't as erect as what they could be and didn't last as long as what they could last. In 2024, the beginning of that January, I had the kidney stone that they had to surgically remove. And I believe that I had no issues prior to that, and it just messed everything up with the kidney stone, I think. So I completed 10 weeks of sessions of it, and I noticed probably within three of those, I think I noticed a difference. The erections were better, and it lasted longer, and got from point A to point B a little bit faster than what it was before. It's made it a lot better. I mean, we've been married for 30 years, and I always take a lot of pride in our sex life because it's always been great. And when it wasn't great, I wanted to do something to fix it so that she can be as satisfied as she needs to be. It just made your muscles, like your legs were flinching and carrying on a little bit, but it wasn't bad. Yeah, I did it after work, but you could do it, squeeze it into a lunch break easily. I mean, I'm more confident in the bedroom. I mean, there for a while, I was pretty nervous, like, oh wow, I'm gonna screw this up. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it's working the way it should now, so it couldn't have been any better. Everybody here was very nice, didn't make me feel embarrassed about it or anything, and everything went very smoothly. And yeah, can't say enough good things about all you guys in here. Don't ignore it. Don't keep not satisfying your wife or girlfriend or whoever. Just, you should really do something about it.
Yeah, they're very happy. Tim's last treatment was like 9 months ago, and I just had a follow-up with him, and he said everything is still working perfectly. So 10 treatments, once a week, protocol 2 for men, protocol 2 for your sexual health, and he's just thrilled. He says well worth the money, so. I think that's all I have, yeah, so, again, Facebook, Instagram links as always. I'm here till the end of today, so if you have any questions, please ask. I'm really happy, my husband too, we love this. We really want to help you do the same thing, so thank you for hearing me out. Thank you for listening to me.